Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We're so glad that you all have joined. Edubex welcomes everyone to this webinar. Um, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome a speaker, Mr. Noble. He's got a vast experience in the IT industry, over 15 years of experience in the domain of especially data architect, project management, and other technical leadership. Um, he's been working with around, you know, uh, Fortune 100 organizations, which has helped us, give us more exposure to how the industry works and the upcoming trends and what are the security measures that we have to take. Um, and also a competitive advantage and measurable business outcomes. He's known for his diligence, precision, and also the current technological security measures that we have to take in our organizations, and which will definitely help in your career also to choose the correct path towards shaping a brighter future. So join me in welcoming Mr. Noble. Thank you, Noble, for your time, and then over to you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. Yes, please, Mr. Xavier, you can take it.
Yeah, so hi all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So this is Noble. So give me a minute, let me share my screen as well. So before that, thanks a lot for welcoming me to this webinar. So as mentioned there in the introduction, so today we want to discuss what is data science, what's the importance of data science, or why it's a buzzword, or what are the different modules, components. So what is AI? So what is GenAI? So what is ChatGPT? At least you might heard about these terms. So mainly, right, I want to give a brief about all these tools, technologies, the buzzwords which are around there in the world, so that you can choose the right decision. So if you're planning to upgrade your knowledge, so you can choose your career path. So having said that, so we'll start right now. Hope you are able to hear me as well as you can see me. And the presentation is also hopefully visible for all of you. So the first topic which I want to discuss, what's a data science? So anyone have any idea what's a data science, or are you also hearing for the first time? So the data science means, so we are going to deal with the data. So we were discussing on what is data science, or so how this data science and the machine learning, how it differ from the traditional programming. If I talk about two scenarios, or maybe that at least you might be knowing business intelligence and how the data science is differ from business intelligence. So if I talk about one example, so maybe right, I have the sales data for last 5 years. So you might heard about some terms like data analysis, data analytics, etc. So consider scenario. So we have some sales data for 5 years. So maybe the data is from 2020 till 2025. So consider we have the data for these 5 years. So if we talk about the traditional business intelligence systems, so what we can do, we can analyze this data and we can get some insights. So insights means, so we would be able to answer few questions. So maybe right, I can answer what was the profit. So I can answer some questions like a profit in 2022. So that's what I would be able to do it. Or maybe right, I can answer some questions like a top 10 customers in 2024. Or maybe right, the sales data, and if it's a retail client or the retail store, and consider they have so many stores. So we can get some details like which are the top 10 stores, or maybe right, the top 5 stores, etc. So what I mean to say, the traditional BI application, what exactly it will try to do, whatever the data we have, it can analyze and it can answer some questions based on the data what we have. But if we come to the data science and the machine learning, so what additional capability it has, it can analyze this data. So we have the data for 5 years, it can analyze this data. Then after that, what it can do, it can get some insight about the data. It can understand the patterns. So then our machine learning model or the data science or the machine learning model, it has the capacity or the capability to predict what is going to happen there in the future. So maybe right here we were able to predict, or here we will be able to get what was the profit in 2022. But whenever it comes to the data science and the machine learning applications, so we can predict something like expected profit for 2027 and 2028. So that's going to be the main difference. Or maybe right here we are able to get based on the data all are the top 10 customers in 2024. Maybe I can do some analysis top 10 customers in 2028. So these type of insights we are going to get from the data science and the machine learning. Or maybe right if you want to do some analysis, maybe there are 1,000 stores for this retail company and they can do some analysis what is the expected profit in next 3 years, and the based on that they can do the planning. I hope you got a very rough. So mainly it is used for predictions, and how the predictions are going to happen, it is going to analyze historic data. It will understand the pattern. Based on the pattern, it is going to create some model, and that model is going to take for the next predictions. So the most important thing we should remember here is that the data is going to play an important role. So we need to provide the right data to the system. Then only the model is going to create properly. So otherwise, right, if you're not giving the right data, the model won't be that accurate and our predictions is going to be wrong. Another important thing about the data science and the machine learning, system is going to create the model. So that's another important point. System is creating the model. So that means, so we don't need to write any code as such. So the data scientist's responsibility is that prepare the data, prepare the meaningful data and pass to the system, and system is going to create the model. And the main responsibility, if the data is not correct, the prediction is going to be wrong. So that's what the main difference between the traditional programming and the data science and the machine learning. So mainly there is an additional prediction capacity or so that functionality is added. So this is the definition for the data science. Data science is a practice of existing insight and the value from the data it is using. So how the models are going to get creating, it is going to apply many of the mathematical and the statistical concepts are going to apply. So that means, so why do we need to apply the mathematical and statistical concepts? Because it is required to understand the patterns, how the data is organized, to get all these insights. So this is going to be a detailed definition for the data science. So data science uses statistics, scientific computing, scientific methods to process algorithms and system to extrapolate knowledge and insight from noisy structured and unstructured data. So this is going to be a detailed definition, so you can ignore it for the time being. But in simple terms, it is going to analyze the data, model is going to get created, and that model is going to use for the predictions. So this is a very common diagram which is explaining about the data science. You can see that even the data science is a combination of three components. One is computer science, maths, and the domain knowledge. So why the domain knowledge is very important? Assume that if you want to create a model which is related to finance industry, so you might heard some use case something like banking fraud detections, or maybe right if you want to create a model which is going to capture the loan defaulters, etc. So first of all, the data scientist responsibility to prepare the data. So to prepare the right data, so they should know in a bank how the banking system is going to work. So how we can identify a loan defaulter, or what are the terms which they are using there in the bank. So then only they can prepare the right data. So once they prepare the right data, we can pass to the system. And on top of that, many of the mathematical and statistical concepts are going to get implemented. So there are so many predefined algorithms are there. So as a developer, so they should know some of the basic maths and stats concepts, but it is they no need to do any coding related to that, because the algorithm which is going to create the model is purely based on the mathematical and statistical concepts. Again, if you have to work with the computer, so definitely we should have some computer knowledge. So to integrate all these math stats, the data, etc. So we need to use some programming language, and the very commonly used programming language for the data science and the machine learning is going to be Python. So in addition to that, R also people are going to use it, but many of the Python capabilities we are going to use most of the data science and the machine learning projects. It is not necessary to have a very deep knowledge about the Python, at least some basic programming skills. So how we can create a function, or how the loops are going to work, how the if else statement is going to work. So that's what you can see. So now, so there is a comparison between data scientist, data engineer, and data analyst. I had already discussed data analyst is the person who is going to analyze the data. So whenever I have the data for last 3 years, they can analyze the data and they can give some insights. So these are some of the tools which they can use for the data analysis part. We can use SQL, Excel, Tableau. These are the most commonly used tool for data analysis. Again, the data scientist, so they are going to use SQL, Python, R. Many of the clouds tools also they are going to use it. So why the SQL is important? So we need to store this data in one of the database. So whether it's a data analyst or data scientist, they need to store the data in one of the databases, or not one, any database they can do it. It can be a cloud database, or it can be an on-premise database. So if you want to get the data from so these databases, so we can use SQL. So that's this is a very small comparison between the roles and responsibilities of data scientist, data engineer, and data analyst. So these are some of the skills required if you want to be a part of data analyst or the data scientist. So data analyst requires very basic skills. So we can do the data analysis in Excel. Again, if you want to get the data from a database, we should have SQL. So these are two most commonly used visualization tool, that is Power BI and Tableau. So for example, if you want to show the leadership some output of these type questions, so we need to create some graph. Maybe right, I want to analyze. So what was the month-wise sales in 2022? I cannot directly give some raw data to the leadership. They won't be able to understand it. So what we need to do, we need to create some visualization with some drill down functionalities, etc. So that is possible by using this Tableau and Power BI. So Tableau and Power BI is very commonly used or most popular tools there in the market, which is used for the data analysis. Again, if you come to the data science part, so these are going to be some of the tool comparison, whatever I have specified. So these are the data analyst tool, Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, and Python. The data science perspective, so we need to have some advanced tools like a NumPy. The NumPy is used to store the data in the form of an array. Array can be multi-dimensional arrays. We can have a 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional arrays. We would be able to create with the NumPy. Again, pandas. So pandas is used to store the data in the form of a table. So we can filter the data. So we can do the group by. So these type of operations, group by, aggregation, filtering, so we can do by using pandas. The matplotlib is a very light tool, so which is used to plot some charts. If you want, we can create a quickly. If you want to create a line chart, bar chart, scatter plot, easily you would be able to create it by using matplotlib. So this is a free tool which is easily available with Python, and we would be able to use it. So Seaborn is also another tool. So similar to matplotlib, so this is also used to plot the graph. But the graph what you are going to create is more advanced versions. So we would be able to create graphs like disk plot, box plot, etc. We can create it by using Seaborn. But compared to Tableau or Power BI, it won't be as powerful. It won't be less powerful. But so these are the free software which we can easily integrate with Python. But if we talk about Tableau and Power BI, these are separate tools, so which we need to use, or we need to buy, we need to use it. Obviously, the Tableau and Power BI, So that also, right, we can connect to Python and we can create a report. If you talk about the data science perspective, so this is very important tool, that is scikit-learn. All the machine learning algorithms, it is available under scikit-learn. So if you join any data science or the machine learning course, around 70 to 80% of the time you will be spending to learn scikit-learn. So scikit-learn, most of the machine learning libraries comes under the scikit-learn. If you come to TensorFlow, so TensorFlow is a part of deep learning. So it's going to be one of the deep learning library. Scikit-learn is machine learning, TensorFlow is deep learning. So why do we need to use deep learning? So the scikit-learn, machine learning and deep learning are almost same, but some of the cases, if you are not able to get the right accuracy from the machine learning, so we can go with the deep learning concepts. So there the data is going to process multiple times. So there will be different neurons will be created. Again, the data is going to process multiple layers multiple times. Again, the Spark is also another module, so which we can use it for the data science, data analysis perspective. So the summary I want to say that, so there are many tools are there. So based on your requirement in your priority, you need to choose some of the basic tools. The first one is going to be Python. It's going to be a programming language, because whichever the tools we want to learn it, so you should have some knowledge about Python. Again, this NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, scikit-learn. So these are going to be the very basic tool. So if you want to get into GenAI, or if you want to get into agentic AI, so all these concepts, right? So these are the basic tools which you should have some knowledge. So this is going to be a detailed description of the tools. So Python, R. So I already discussed Python and R are two programming language. So very commonly used for the data science and the machine learning. Among these, Python is going to be very, very popular because Python is going to be very flexible. Again, Tableau, Power BI is specified. So this is a visualization tool. So whatever the predictions we are doing by using the data science and the machine learning, and if you want to explain to someone else, so definitely we should have some visualization tools, etc. Again, the Alteryx is a data transformation tool. So this is an ETL tool. Again, there are so many tools are there. I don't want to go in detail one by one. So just to get an idea, I kept a list of tools. So next, so where this data science, the machine learning comes. So this is going to be a broader architecture you might seen, or this is going to be very general term. So that is AI. AI is called the artificial intelligence. So what is AI? It's a very buzzword. And any sort of automation which we'll try to do, which we try to mimic the human activities, it called as AI. And the machine learning, you can see that this is a subset of AI. AI is going to be very broad at time. The machine learning is going to be a subset of AI. Again, some of the models what we created, if you're not able to get the right accuracy, so then we can go with the deep learning. So deep learning, the architecture is going to be a bit complex. So if you don't have any knowledge about the machine learning or AI, it will be a bit difficult for you to learn deep learning. So those who want to get into this path, so first I'll suggest you to learn machine learning, then get into the deep learning, because there the architecture is going to be a bit difficult. And around 70 to 80% of concepts of the machine learning, they are going to use it. Again, this is another buzzword which is there in the market right now, generative AI. So generative AI, so I'll discuss about that little late. It is used to generate the contents, image, code. So we can use generative AI also. So this is the buzzword there in the market right now. So generative AI requires some sort of coding. So this generative AI code, it's also going to work on top of Python. So definitely you should have some Python basic knowledge. You should have some machine learning knowledge. So then only the generative AI, etc., it is going to really help you. So if I go this slide, it has given a comparison between whatever is specified here and what is its use, etc. there. So the definition for AI, we can just try to have a look here. I don't want to go in detail. I just want to tell you that. So these are the terms and these are going to be the comparisons. So artificial intelligence, it is mostly used to mimic the human intelligence. So whatever the human try to do, so we'll try to mimic by using the system, the robots, all this comes under the AI concepts. Machine learning, so this is mostly used to understand the patterns, use the historic data, create the model, and do the predictions. Again, the deep learning, as I specified, it is a complex recognition. Some of the cases, the machine learning is not able to give you the right result, or not the right result, right accuracy. If you are not able to get it, we can go with deep learning. So next is going to be generative AI. So generative AI, as the name suggests, it is going to generate something for you. So we know that ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is a very small part of the generative AI. Generative AI is very big umbrella, and ChatGPT is a very limited part of that. So it is going to create the content. It is going to generate the text. It can generate the image. It can generate the code. Maybe right if you're a programmer and if you're working in a complex problem for Java, and if you don't know how to write the code corresponding to that, we can use this generative AI to write or generate the code for you. So these are going to be some examples for AI. Robotics comes under, again, machine learning. So there are spam filters, recommendations will come. Deep learning, voice recognition system, face recognition, all this comes under the deep learning concept. Chat GPT comes under generative AI. So what is this generative AI? Generative AI is very hot there in the market right now. So the definition for generative AI is it is going to generate content for you. It can generate text, image, audio, video, code, etc. It can generate for you. So, so we can, if we want to generate some text, so we can use Chat GPT. So these are some other generative AI tools. If you want to generate some images, we can use another tool like DALI. We can use GitHub Copilot, etc. So this is tools which we can use to generate the code for us. So there are hundreds of tools are available in the market, the generative AI field. It's not only ChatGPT. So you might heard about ChatGPT, Gemini, then Copilot. There are so many other tools are there. Perplexity, so which is there in the area of generative AI. So this is going to be another slide, so which is going to give you the different generative AI tools related to the application perspective. So you have to decide which direction you want to go. So based on that, you need to select the tool. So definitely right, we cannot learn all the tools. So there are different areas are there, and the tools are related to different areas. So but so definitely right, you should have some data science and the machine learning knowledge. So then only you'll be able to understand all these generative AI tools. But if you want to customize this tool as, so definitely you should have some idea. Now what is a chat GPT? So this is also very buzzword there in the market. So many people will think that chat GPT is the generative AI. So just to understand that chat GPT is just a very small part of generative AI. So the diagram, if you see that the tools which are available, you can see that one. So there are hundreds of tools are there, and out of that, ChatGPT is going to be one of the tool. So based on our application, our requirement, so we need to choose. We need to do some research, and we need to choose the appropriate tool, and that's what you need to learn it. So if you talk about ChatGPT, so ChatGPT's the definition shows that one. This is an advanced AI chatbot developed by OpenAI. So OpenAI is a company. So similar to that, there are so many other companies are there. They have their own products. But ChatGPT is one of the product which is coming from OpenAI. So why we need to use ChatGPT? It is used to generate the text for us. So it can create code, translate and summarize the text. So mainly that if you want to process or if you want to generate the text content, ChatGPT is something which you can use it. So this is a comparison between ChatGPT and GenAI. So why did I kept this slide? Because many people will feel that GenAI is ChatGPT. So just tell you that it is not the same. GenAI is going to be very big term. So that's the first line shows that it covers an umbrella of diverse content. But ChatGPT is specialized for the text generation. So that's what you can see. Yes. Again, this slide talks some comparison between OpenAI and GenAI. So GenAI is a broader term. OpenAI is one of the company which is providing some products which can use it for generative AI. So OpenAI is one of the AI research company that develops and utilize generative AI technologies. It can use it to generate images and text code. In ChatGPT is one of the product which comes from OpenAI to generate the text. So these are few alternative to ChatGPT. So you might heard about these terms. OpenAI is going to provide ChatGPT. The Gemini have their own product, Perplexity, Copilot, Cloud. Cloud also very popular there in the market right now. There are a lot of flexibility we can do and we can make the changes by using cloud. So I just introduced this one to get an idea which are the common buzzwords that are in the market so that we can choose which is going to be the right career path you want to choose it and you can choose which is the right course if you want to join it or based on your requirement, your interest, you can choose the best out of it. So if you talk about this a slide which I got from the internet. So this is a job market and you can see that when it's very hot there in the market right now. So if you talk about the data science, the machine learning, deep learning, again generative AI. So there are a lot of openings are there. And this is one of the graph which I got from internet and you can see that this is going to be the trend there in the market. So definitely right, you can do some research as well. Or maybe right, if you want to search there in ChatGPT, what is the job market for data science and the machine learning? So definitely you will be able to get so many answers. So here also we know that there is a speech recognition. So why the data science is important? The demand is growing. You can see that there is a huge demand. Again, these are the skills which are very, very exploding these days. Because the data science of the machine learning is around 5 years old right now. But if we talk about AI, LLM, so that's a large language models, the skills are exploding. So these are going to be, so that means generative AI demands around 58% year over year job demands are there. So we can create chatbots. So many things correct we can do, lot of automations we can do by using generative AI concepts. So these are going to be some of the job roles. AI engineer, LLM engineer. LLM engineer means a large language model. Again, prompt engineer. The prompt engineer means in simple terms, the prompt is the question which you are asking to this Gen AI tools. So this is my prompt. So the question which I'm asking, based on that, the result you are going to get it. So if you want to get the right answer from the LLM tools, so we have to give very proper, accurate prompt. So then only the result you are going to get it. So these are some of the job roles available, that is prompt engineering, etc. So this ML ops, so this is especially the deployment of AL and machine learning model. So we need to understand this requires some sort of coding. So especially if you want to have, if you don't have any coding knowledge, so don't directly get into ML ops because here we need to create the CI/CD pipeline, etc. So we should have some coding knowledge, etc. So here you can see what's the salary trend. So this is a salary trend we are getting there in Indian currencies. But whenever you search it, you would be able to get as per your currency. Yes. So, but the summary is that there is a lot of demand there in the market for these generative AI tools, the data science and the machine learning. That's what I want to conclude it. So these are the biggest skills in demand, Python, SQL. So that's what I specified there in my PPT as well as. The cloud is going to be an important concept, but so cloud is something different than data science and the machine learning. At least you might heard about GCP, Google Cloud, again AWS. So that's a different topic altogether. But because almost all the companies they are moving to cloud. The cloud also there are a lot of demand there in the market right now. But data science GenAI is different than the cloud. So maybe right if you want to see career roadmap for next 3 to 4 years for data science, we can try to search it here and it is going to display that as well. So this is going to be the career path. You can start with the data analyst, or if you have some basic knowledge about Excel, etc., you can directly get into data scientist. Then you can go to AI engineer, again AI system expertise. So if you directly get into the AI engineer, maybe it is a bit difficult. So we can directly start with the data scientist part, then gradually can move to the higher levels, maybe in a period of 1 year time. So these are going to be the core skill, the basic foundation skills, so which are required. So that is even that's what right I was explaining there in my PPT as well. The same thing is given, that is Python, SQL, statistics, Excel, data visualization. Why the data visualization? Whatever the analysis, whatever the predictions we are doing it, so we need to present to the business. So for that we should have some visualization tool. Even if you learn only the visualization tool, there are a lot of job opportunities. So if you talk about, there are two prominent visualization tools. So visualization tool doesn't require any uh, coding skill. So we should have some creativity to create the charts. So mainly we can drag and drop many of the objects and we can create different visualization. So this is also another area which you can explore it a lot. So you can check that one, job opportunities in Power BI and Tableau. So there will be lot of independent job roles. So these are very high demanding visualization tools there in the market. Among this one, I'll suggest you can go with Power BI if you're interested, because Power BI is pretty new to the market. So the skilled resources are very less. So Tableau is a bit old. So there are so many skilled resources are there. Maybe getting a job will be slightly difficult than getting a job in Power BI. So you can see there is a good salary range. So that's what you can see. So more or less it's going to be same, Tableau and Power BI. Both of them are used for almost the same purpose. So many companies are right now moving to Tableau and Power BI for their reporting purpose. If you come back to the data science part, as this is what you can see. So these are some of the tools which is used for the machine learning. So these are the different projects. So even that you can do some of the search and you can understand what are the different modules are there based on that. Again, the phase 3 is going to be, so why did I use that one? I want to show you that from where you need to start if you want to really get into this area. So this is going to be the phase 1, foundation. So foundation, these are the tools which we can learn it. So these are some of the data science tools, especially the machine learning part comes here. Again, this GenAI and agentic AI, it is going to be an advanced phase. That comes under the phase 3S. So here there will be a lot of demands will be there. So MLOps is going to be the production deployment related activities. Mainly that we need to create the CI/CD pipeline. All this is comes under there. I hope you got an idea. So what's the data science, the machine learning, etc. So now the floor is open for all your questions. So let me know if anyone have any questions which I need to take it up. So definitely I'll be able to take it up. Have we got any questions? At least did you get what is mean by data science, the machine learning, generative AI?
Hi guys. So anyone have any doubts? Please, you can ask now. This is the time you can address your concerns or any doubts regarding our session. the topic data science and the job opportunities.
I think I can see someone raise the hand. Is it possible to unmute, or are they directly able to talk?
Okay, please, Noble, please unmute them. All are muted right now.
Hi, Noble.
Yes.
Okay. I am mainly interested on the topic, which is the reason why we have actually joined this session, which is predominantly about the resilience of the data science itself in the job market. Is it in relation to the rising interest of the employers, or the rising demand for the skill itself, or for the course itself? Or why are we basically talking about the resilience and data science? That is my first question. I will follow through after.
First of all, there is a lot of demand there in the market. So many companies are trying to apply the data science, the machine learning, and the AI concept. So basically, there is many companies are moving to that side. So basically, right. So they need to have the developers to do the coding. So that's the reason there are a lot of job opportunities also coming to the data science, the machine learning, or GenAI part.
Okay, thank you for that one. The next one, which is the follow-up question, I'm just interested in the relationship between the technical skills that we just mentioned here, which is Python, SQL, and the likes. The relationship between all these technical skills and the soft skills, predominant or mainly about communication. What can you say about the relationship between the communication, or the importance of communication on the data scientist or data analyst?
So communication means you're talking about your oral communications, right? Or how these SQL data, the data science, how it is related is that's your question?
Okay, let me rephrase my question.
Yes.
We just talked about the technical skills, or the skills needed for somebody to be qualified or to be called a data scientist or data analyst. How likely, or how is it important for that particular somebody to be a good communicator, or how is the communication playing a pivotal role into that particular somebody after completing these technical skills? If let me like make my question a little bit richer. For somebody to be a data scientist, they should be in a position to have ability to extract data. They should be in a position to, or they should have the ability. Jacob Mabaso, can you mute your mic, please? Jacob Mabaso, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you, Mr. Mabaso. Okay, I was saying we just went through the importance of the technicality of the data science, or what somebody needs, the skills that somebody needs for them to be a good data analyst or data scientist. So the question is, isn't it going to be something paralyzing your ability if maybe you are good technically, or you have all that it takes for you to be technically data scientist or data analyst, but you find that you cannot be able to communicate? So the question is, how is the communication important or pivotal into the journey of data science and data analytics? I was about to say, I understand that for somebody to be a data analyst or data scientist, you are mainly going to be working with the extraction of data, making all the statistical inferences or statistical conclusions, or anything that's in relation to statistics. For you to be, after finding the result, or the anything, after finding the results of your maybe hypothesis, anything that you are interested in, I understand that you are ultimately going to be projecting the results or communicating the results to any stakeholders, being it your colleagues, your managers, or anyone. So how is it good for somebody to be good when it comes to communication? Isn't it going to paralyze you to be a good technically, but unable to communicate your findings or your results and stuff like that? I hope my question is clear.
Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the architecture, what you specified. So we need to get some data. So we need to clean it, we need to process it. So we are getting the insight and we need to present to someone else. So it is not possible to do end to end by a single person. So that the people should work as a team. And the communication means, so we are not going to communicate orally, right? So what are the findings we are going to identify? So we are going to create some charts or some visualization. That's what we are going to create it, and so that's what really we want to communicate it. So for example, if I want to, whatever the findings you have, so the beginning I specified, if this data science or the machine learning, we can create the model to do some predictions. So whatever the predictions are happened, maybe the sales trend in 2027 and 28. We are not going to write the details in a mail, or we are not going to orally communicate to someone else. So there are tools which is going to support for that effective communications. So that is Power BI, Tableau, such visualization tools. So with the help of these tools, we can create the visualizations and we can provide whoever need it, and they can create it. So they can use it. So the output, what we can do, we can project to in a web page, or maybe write your boss or whoever is required to understand. So what's the output which is coming from over the data science analysis. So it can be in the form of a Power BI report, it can be visualization from Tableau, or sometimes it can be a web page which they can create it. So they can just try to feed their input. So they can, there are different parameters are there are different drop downs are there, different filters are there. So they can pass that input, and eventually it is going to get the data from the output which is coming from the data science and the machine language part. So if a person is technically good, so he can be a part of core data scientist and the machine learning part. He can do all the customization. He can create effective Python codes to extract the data. Everything he can do it. So definitely there will be other team, those who are expert there in the visualization part or the web page creation or the presentation skill. So they will take care of that part. So they will integrate the responsibility from the data scientist or the output from the data scientist in a visually attractive form to the customers. So that is one thing. The other side, if you are not very good at technical, but if you have good presentation skill, good visualization skill, you can work with some of the data scientists and they can rightly present that output in any of the visualization forms and they can present it. So both the case, there are a lot of opportunities. That's what I mean. Again, definitely both the people should have some basic SQL knowledge to understand how the data is coming from different data systems, how the data is getting integrated, etc. I answer your questions. So based on your thing, right, if you're not good at communication, you should be there in the technical aspect. Or if you are good at the presentation, then that tools we need to concentrate it.
Yes, you have touched the majority of my interests. So I'm actually asking this question because it's one of the underspoken or the topic that we normally do not communicate when it comes to the success of somebody to be a good data scientist or a good data analyst. Because like imagine you spoke that somebody is not going to be doing end-to-end projects, but if maybe I'm a consultant I'm a consultant with one business or one company. Basically, I'm going to be the all-rounder. I'm going to do everything by myself, and I may get the data set from maybe the hypothetical company or hypothetical business. After making or after getting that data set itself, I'm going to extract some insights, then project them to that particular hypothetical business or the company that we're talking about here. So I think I'm mainly interested in the communication because I have realized that quite a lot of people uh, stumble when it comes to communication. They may be technically savvy or may be technically okay with all the skills, Python, advanced SQL, window functions, and all that. But when it comes to projecting all the findings, yes, we can build all the beautiful and good looking dashboards, but eventually, after making the dashboard, it is not going to be, I'm not going to project the dashboard on the wall or on the screen, then sit there by myself. I'm going to interpret, I'm going to be expected to interpret all the findings that I have, everything that has been projected on my screen, maybe projected on my or maybe everything that's there on the dashboard, let me just say, for lack of better words, I'm going to be expected to deliver and communicate all these findings with the expectation of maybe the stakeholders to be making decisions or the managers to take a certain direction. I understand that I will be an expert in my domain. So them they will be relying on my data. So the question or the main interest that we normally do not communicate or talk about is the importance of the communication or the ability to communicate with the stakeholders and everyone, just so that you become a successful data scientist or data analyst in your domain. Another follow-up question was, or maybe we can close this one and should just mute. Maybe some of the people are interested in asking some questions. I will ask yet another one as we proceed.
Okay, so you should have some presentation skill. So how you are presented here. Maybe right, if you don't have the knowledge about the Tableau or Power BI, which is a pretty powerful visualization tool. Certainly some sort of visualizations, right, you should know, even if, right, create some PPTs, get some data. So then only the people will buy. It's not only the data science, right? Any application or any product what we created, if we want to sell that product, first of all, the people should buy. So normally this the output of this data science or the machine learning, normally it will go to the higher management. So we should be present in such a way that very crisp, and the people should very easily understand based on their needs. So definitely, right, some skills are good. Maybe you can learn some light visualization tools, or maybe use some Excel capability. What are the findings you are getting it, summarize it, export to an Excel, create some minimum Excel charts, something, or create some PPTs, etc., and you have to present it. But the problem is that if you present through Excel or PPT, the output will be more like a static. So they cannot use it further, right? So if you create a model and if you are getting the output and if you are creating a PPT out of that and you are presenting it, but they want to use the same model and they want to see the output the next month from that particular model. So then this PPT is not going to help, because the next month also someone need to create the PPT with the latest data. So that's going to be the drawbacks. Obviously, the communication is required. Otherwise, right, how the people will know that whether you are doing or are they meeting their expectations? So obviously, right, the leadership should have some flexibility to choose what they need, not like a static report also. So then only the data analysis is going to help, because you are creating some model with the different parameters, and you are telling that yes, this is the profit for 2026, and the profit is depending on different parameters. Maybe the leadership, they want to make some changes in that parameters and they want to see how the profit is going to vary. But if you give a static screenshot, it is not going to help. So basically, right, so what are the parameters they want to change it, that flexibility should be there. So for that, these type of tools are required, Tableau or BI. So something is required, or you need to create a web interface. Again, creating a web interface is more difficult. So whatever the analysis we are doing, the output from the data science model, we can store it in some tables. Again, the visualization of the web page can connect to this particular table and let it refresh on certain intervals, maybe once in a week or daily they can refresh it, and maybe it can be emailed also. Otherwise, we are creating very technical models, and if others cannot use it, right, that's going to be the challenge. If you are only one person, definitely you have to increase your skills in that area also.
Yes. You have answered my question. I was actually silent to open for other people, maybe who could be asking some questions, but it seems like nobody's asking a question. In the absence of the further questions, another thing on the data science Venn diagram, there is a Venn diagram you did show there that shows where maybe the data science comes from or stands, or the skills available into different other domains. Another important or critical thing that you talked about was domain knowledge or domain expertise or business knowledge. I'm also asking it because next to communication, I talked about communication, which is something that was standing on its own. Another thing is the importance of the business knowledge. Can you say more and deeper about the domain knowledge? Let me just say this. I may study data science without knowing actually in the end. Okay, I may study data science because of seeing the graph or the histogram showing, or the bar chart showing the demand as years go on up until 2030 per se. But upon studying data science, I may study it with zero knowledge of any domain, fresh from lower school or high school or any schools before tertiary level. I may take the data science as my professional or the tertiary skill. So I think with that, the limitation would be the domain, any domain knowledge. So can you say something about having deeper knowledge of any set of domain, just so that somebody, I'm mainly interested in somebody taking their craft from zero level to the advanced or the very good, to be a very good data analyst or data scientist. What is the importance of domain knowledge in my journey as a data scientist or aspiring data scientist? Thank you.
There are a few things. So first of all, you mentioned the person is just college pass out. So even though he has this knowledge about the technical tools, so definitely right, he will be going to play a junior role. So he or she will be assisted with some seniors. So they will be giving some basic knowledge transfer to this person, and they will be able to understand some details. But definitely, if you are getting to a consultant without a domain knowledge, if you want to work independently, you can't do anything. So, for example, if you want to get into a banking industry and you want to create a model to identify the loan defaulters. So, how do you identify that if you don't know the banking terms, like what are the different types of loan? Again, what is the repo rate? So, like that, there are so many different banking terms are there. If you don't have any knowledge about these terms, so mainly right, you won't understand the data. So if you don't understand the data, you cannot pull the right data and you cannot clean it, because there will be lot of data will be there. If a consultant, his responsibility is create an end-to-end applications. So definitely right, the domain knowledge is required. Then only he can talk to the people and he can find out the data. Maybe the data won't be readily available. The data will be available in some system, but an experienced person or the architect level, the domain knowledge is important so that he can talk to the people and he can find out from where he can get the right data, he can integrate and he can create the models out of that. But if it's a junior resource, so everyone knows that the person might not have the domain knowledge, obviously that he is not going to play an architect role. So he is going to play a very basic things. So maybe right at the first, maybe he will test some of the applications which is created, or maybe right initially he will be supporting for some documentation perspective. So that way, right over a period of time, he can gain the domain knowledge. Again, that's a good person interest, right? So he can spend some time for reading, then he can increase the domain knowledge and he can progress. So day one itself, right, no one is going to be an independent consultant. So the salary and everything is going to vary accordingly. So even right, I was a college pass out. At that time, I was not doing anything. Again, right, any applications, if you want to create it, for example, if you want to create a Java web page. So first of all, they should know, right, if they're writing a button or they were designing a web page, they should have some idea what they need to really keep there in the web page, what the content they want to write it, what are the parameters they want to do it. Or if they are doing some creating some model, so which is related to the retail client, and if they don't know what is an inventory, what's the sales, what's the profit, and when they don't know what's an SKU, so then it's a bit difficult. But over a period of time, they can attain the knowledge and they will be there at the top.
Okay, no, but like I was saying, I'm just interested in some people asking some questions because I think I have a series of them, so it shouldn't be a dialogue.
Okay, so what if you have more questions? We can have an offline connect with the Edubex team. So we can have separate discussion. So no worries. And others, if we don't have any other questions, we will wind up. So I think you might be knowing the point of contact from Edubex, right? When they circulated the form, which you can fill it if you have further questions or if you need further details required.
So hi guys. So if anyone have any other doubts, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, let's wind up the session. Thank you, Noble. It was a wonderful session and it was very insightful. So
Thank you and all the best. Have a good day ahead. We'll talk to you
yes.
later. Bye.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.